The morning sunlight spilled across the courtyard of Brookwood High, catching on the nervous face of a girl who looked too fragile to belong there. Her name was Aisha Tanaka, a transfer student from a small coastal town where waves were her only friends and silence was her comfort. Her dark hair was tied back neatly, her shoulders hunched, and her steps careful, as if afraid to disturb the ground she walked on. No one noticed the faint white scar near her wrist, or how her eyes carried a stillness deeper than most adults. To everyone else, she was just another quiet face blending into the crowd. But by the end of that day, the whole school would remember her name, and no one would ever see her the same again. If you believe in kindness, courage, and second chances, take a second to like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel, Always Kind. Let's spread stories that remind the world how strength often hides behind silence. It was Aisha's third day at Brookwood. She ate her lunch alone under a tree near the gymnasium, away from the buzzing laughter of students who had already formed their little groups. She wasn't shy because she was weak, she was quiet because she had learned the cost of being noticed. Back in her hometown, she had seen how people treated difference like a disease. Her Japanese-Pakistani heritage made her stand out, and kids weren't always kind about that. But here, she thought maybe she could start fresh. That fragile hope would soon be shattered. A group of students loitered near the vending machines, 3 boys and 2 girls, loud, careless, and cruel, in the way only the confident can be. Their leader, Trent Holloway, was a tall senior with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. His girlfriend, Marcy, always wore expensive perfume and looked down on anyone who didn't. When they spotted Aisha sitting alone, Trent nudged his friends and laughed. "Look, the new ghost girl. Doesn't even talk to anyone." They walked over, shadows stretching long in the afternoon sun. Aisha looked up when she heard footsteps approaching, her brown eyes calm but wary. "Hey, new girl," Trent said, snatching her apple from her lunchbox. "You don't talk much, huh? What are you hiding?" His tone carried amusement, but his friends smelled blood in the water. Aisha didn't answer. She just reached out and gently took her apple back, her movements steady. That silence unnerved him. He wasn't used to being ignored, and it stung. "You think you're better than us?" he barked. His voice drew attention from nearby tables. People started watching. Someone muttered, "Poor girl. Trent's picking another one." Aisha stood, holding her backpack close. "I'm not better than anyone," she said quietly, her accent delicate. "I just want peace," Marcy snorted. "Peace? You're in high school, sweetie, not yoga class." Laughter rippled through the crowd. But what happened next turned laughter into a sharp gasp. Trent suddenly grabbed Aisha's collar, pushing her back against the tree. "Say something again, ghost girl." His voice was low and mocking. His friends started cheering, thinking it was all fun. Aisha's breath caught as his hand rose to her throat, his fingers pressing just enough to choke her words. She didn't struggle. Her gaze stayed locked on his face, calm, controlled, like a lake before a storm. "Trent, stop, someone's recording," one of the boys whispered nervously. But Trent didn't care. "What are you gonna do, new girl? Cry?" And then, something in her shifted. Aisha's eyes narrowed, her muscles tensed, and in a flash too quick for anyone to process, she moved. Her hand twisted his wrist, breaking his grip instantly. She spun, dropping low, and with one sharp motion of her elbow, she struck his chest. Trent stumbled back, wheezing, as the crowd fell dead silent. Before anyone could react, she swept his leg out from under him with surgical precision, sending him crashing to the ground. The world froze. Only the sound of birds and the soft thud of his body filled the space. Marcy screamed, "What the? How did she?" But Aisha didn't wait. She adjusted her uniform calmly, picked up her bag, and whispered, "Never touch me again." Then she walked away, leaving a stunned crowd behind. That afternoon, the video hit social media like wildfire. "Shy new girl destroys Trent" became the talk of the school. Some laughed, some cheered, some whispered rumors. A few even started calling her Karate Girl. But Aisha didn't smile. She didn't post. She didn't even defend herself. Because for her, it wasn't victory, it was a reminder of what she had sworn never to use again. The next morning, she sat quietly in class as whispers followed her. Even teachers looked at her differently now. She could feel the invisible wall between her and everyone else. After lunch, her counselor, Mrs. Harper, called her in. "Aisha, dear," she began gently, "we saw the video. Are you all right?" Aisha nodded slowly. "He shouldn't have touched me," she said softly. Mrs. Harper hesitated, then asked, "Where did you learn to defend yourself like that?" Aisha looked down at her hands, the same hands that had once broken boards, thrown opponents twice her size, and earned medals she never displayed. "My father taught me," she whispered. "Before he passed." The counselor's heart softened. He must have been proud. Aisha smiled faintly. "He taught me that karate isn't about fighting. It's about control. But sometimes," her voice cracked, "people don't give you a choice." Outside, the news had spread beyond Brookwood. Parents demanded answers. Some praised her courage, others feared her strength. Trent stayed home for a few days, humiliated. His friends avoided her like she was fire. But on the fourth day, he came, back with anger burning in his eyes. It was during gym class when it happened. The coach stepped out to take a call, leaving students in the hall. Trent saw his chance. "You embarrassed me," he hissed, walking up behind her. "You think you're some ninja? I'll show everyone who's boss." Aisha turned slowly, her calm gaze steady. "Trent, stop! I don't want to hurt you!" He lunged anyway, shoving her shoulder. She stepped aside, his hands slicing through the air. He swung again, this time harder, fueled by humiliation. She ducked, her instincts screaming, her training kicking in, and then his hand went for her throat again. That was the trigger. In a fluid motion, she blocked, trapped his arm, twisted and pinned him against the wall before he even knew what happened. Her voice, quiet but sharp, cut through the hallway. "Never confuse silence with weakness." The coach came running back just in time to see Trent red-faced and gasping. Students stood, frozen, some holding phones but too afraid to record. This time, Trent didn't try again. His anger melted into shame. The principal called both of them in later that day. Trent got suspended for physical aggression, Aisha got a warning, but something unexpected happened afterward. Marcy, the same girl who had laughed at her, waited outside the office. "Hey," she said hesitantly, "I just wanted to say, I didn't know he'd go that far. I'm sorry." Aisha studied her face for a moment, then nodded. "It's okay," she said softly. "Just don't stay silent when you see wrong." That line stuck with Marcy. Over the next few days, she started speaking up when others mocked people. Slowly, the school's tone shifted. Aisha didn't become popular, but she became respected. Even teachers started using her story to teach about self-control and courage. One afternoon, during assembly, the principal asked Aisha to speak. She froze for a moment. She had never spoken in front of a crowd before. But as she stepped onto the stage and saw all those faces staring back, something inside her settled. "I didn't come here to fight," she began softly. "I came here because I wanted to start over. I've been bullied before, and I know what it's like to feel powerless. My father taught me karate so I could protect, not attack. When you hurt someone, you hurt yourself too. But when you stand up, not just for you, but for others, you heal something inside." The hall was silent. Even Trent, sitting in the back, looked down, ashamed. Aisha continued, her voice trembling slightly. "Sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest battles inside. Be kind. You never know what someone's been through." When she finished, the entire room rose to their feet. No one cheered wildly. They just stood silently, respectfully. That was enough. Later that evening, Aisha visited her father's small shrine at home, lighting a candle beside his photo. "I did what you taught me, Papa," she whispered. "I didn't fight to win. I fought to stop the hate." She closed her eyes, a tear slipping down her cheek. Outside, the golden light of sunset painted her room in peace. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Always Kind. Let's remind the world that true strength isn't in fists, it's in compassion, courage, and choosing peace when it's hardest. Before you go, tell us in the comments, would you stand up if you saw someone being bullied?